Hello, wonderful friends. It's been a moment of me recording on the beach. It's probably like a year or two since I've done something like this, but I'm very excited to go back to it. Today, we're going to be transmuting the frequency of I'm not enough. And I will get into a little bit of energy flow first through the heart center. And then we're going to bring in WEOLA to do the channeled part on the same topic. And yes, I'm very excited. If you're new here into this channel, please go into the description box and you can see a little bit more about me and what do I do. If you're interested to work one-on-one with me, you can find information there as well. And yes, subscribe, like, share. Uh, let's go. I'm excited to get going already. Okay, so if you find a comfortable spot, or if you are in a comfortable spot, you can do it now. If not, you can pause this and do it when you have some time later on. Yeah, just get comfortable, quiet place, so you can close your eyes and put your focus in the middle of your chest, your heart center. If you feel like you need to, you can take a couple of deep breaths through your nose and exit on your mouth. Or if you feel that your breath is already okay, meaning that you're already more or less balanced, perfect. So the first part that I want to do is I want to go into the acceptance part, embodying of the acceptance part of I'm not enough. Oftentimes when we want to accept something, there is an agenda. I will accept it so I can get this other thing, but I want you to really feel the acceptance of I'm not enough for a second before we shift towards what is desired. This is, I find, with everything that you want to make the change about, whatever tools that you're using. We're going to use channeling and channeled frequency today in order to do it. But to prep it, really going to the place of acceptance of what is the key step. So I usually use some words like, it would be nice for me not to feel I'm not enough, but it's not a must. It's not a necessity. Even though I love that idea, it's not a necessity. And then here comes the punchline. If I was never to get rid of this feeling, it's okay. For some of you, this might bring things up on the surface because if you're used to trying to eliminate something to get something that you want, that's what I call it's a first step to get into the process of accepting, but it's usually done on mental and emotional level momentarily, so you can shift to the other stuff. But this one's saying, if this was never to change, it's okay. It's like a full-on body acceptance. And so if anything is coming up to the surface for you, it's okay. It's going to sort itself up now through this channeled part. And just sit with it for a moment and allow your presence to be bigger. When we say it's okay, if it's never to change, doesn't mean we want to stay there. It just means that at this moment we're accepting that that is a possibility, and that it would not give us the life we want or a lifestyle that we want, the feelings that we want throughout the life, but it's okay in terms of it would not have to do anything with survival. You'd still be alive. You'd still be alive for the rest of your life if you were to feel that you're not enough once in a while or even dominantly. So we're not trying to stick here for too long. We're just trying to get out or detach survival, fight or flight from I'm not enough. Just sit with it. Don't try to eliminate it, to do anything with it. Just let it be. Let your presence grow so you can see that it's not that big of a deal that this comes up once in a while or even dominantly. And while that might not be your desired life, it certainly has nothing to do with actual act of survival, which is security, safety, roof over your head. There you go. Keep your attention to the heart center, and we're gonna go and see what WEOLA has to say about this. Here now, present, in this moment, in every moment, at all times. Your wider perspective, that which is you from a different angle. We understand why sometimes you might have the experience of not being enough because you're giving attention to something that keeps you in a loop. And while that is a valid choice you can have now and for the rest of this physical iteration, we want to remind you that it's not a necessity and that you do have, through the act of your presence, to direct or use the free will to direct your focus to a desired outcome. I'm not enough or I do not have enough. It's the perspective of lack. And we want to remind you that you can see and look into these things from a few different angles. As simple as analogy of a glass half full, glass half empty, how do you see it? Or glass 20% full and glass 80% empty. Are you paying attention to the what's already in there and let that grow, or are you giving attention to the what's empty and let that grow or stay where it is? And so it's not really about can you shift your attention, but how quickly can you shift attention, and how quickly you can shift your attention depends on how quickly can you drop the judgment that you gave attention in an undesired direction to begin with. The judgment acts as if, in analogy, a thought comes through one ear into your head. And instead of letting it come out, whether it's a positive or negative, you let it just come out while you're having experiences, it's coming through the head, or you're closing the other ear and do not let it come out. This is what keeps you in the loop. And so the emotion, the discharge that comes around, it's not a problem. It's a natural aspect of you looking around and sifting and sorting and sifting and sorting and sifting and sorting, observing and choosing, observing and choosing, observing and choosing. The judgment acts like the act of closing the cage or closing the thought in a cage. And so the recommendation is every time you can, not to do that, to release the thought to just come out. In other words, when you are judging it, this thought keeps dancing from within you on a perimeter of you, around and around and around. And oftentimes, if you're speaking it, it comes out horizontally, bounces off of another person, or empty space if you're shouting just to hear yourself out. And in that way, it keeps repeating the cycle, bounces back off to you. And so at some point, to look in a different way, you just want to let out. And instead of trying to horizontally spread it, you allow that vertically to come through. What's really helpful in this situation is being in nature. And no wonder we ended up broadcasting in this specific scenario while Kosta is on the beach. acknowledging what it is, acknowledging even your momentarily frustration with what it is, with the feeling that you're having of not enoughness when it comes out, but saying this is one of many options. And it's okay if I'm sometimes there. And when I'm there, I'll know what to do with it. And it will not always be the same thing. And I do not need to cage myself into that being always the same thing, because if it's always the same thing and sometimes it doesn't work, then I feel it's not working at all. So we encourage you to look in these situations for what in that moment feels as the best tool to discharge that. For some of you that may be on a paper, for some of you that might be on a nature, for some of you that might be physical exercise, for some of you that be releasing it in a form of a discharge, in a form of a verbal discharge. So just when you do it, even visually, allow that to be taken into verticality. In other words, allow it to discharge vertically. This can be done also even if you are speaking to another person, as long as you're not directing your energy towards them, it will discharge vertically. And once you're done with that, you will not have the judgment of it, and you'll be able to redirect yourself back from that neutral place into the other side of the coin, which is where do I feel enough and what am I already enough for? And start seeing this 20, 30, 40, 50% of the glass that's full as dominant object of your attention. In appreciation of all the work that you're doing here, all the focused work, all desired, deliberate work that you're doing here. For now, that's it. Ooh, that was lovely. Hmm. I'm gonna be re-listening this one. Feels like it. So good. Love you all. See you in the next one. Write me if you ended up being here by the end. I always like to know that. And if you would like more content like this is super easy and super exciting for me to do. Mwah. Love you. Bye.